Hello guys, good evening. Happy Father's Day to your dad as well as thank you for waiting. Ngayon nagkaroon ng oras to record this. So there are 43 sections of the Republic Act 9292. So let me share the screen. Okay. And then we will go to the okay. So formerly it started with the Republic Act 5734. Okay. So repealing Republic Act 5734, otherwise known as the Electronic and Communication Engineering Act of the Philippines. This time, it is now being called Electronics Engineering, nawala na yung communication. Okay. Okay. As well as the electronic technician and the professional. So we all know that section 1 is all about the title. So it was drafted and passed in the year of 2004 by the Congress pa to. By the 12th Congress. Ayun. Okay. Section 2 is now the statement of policy. And the highlight of this, the state shall therefore develop and nurture competent. Okay. Kaya minsan mikpit kami sa inyo because after your graduation, we see to it that you are competent. So, pag hindi, another 3 years, hindi naman siguro. Virtuous, productive, and well-rounded PECE, ECE, ECT. Okay. Whose standard of practice and service shall be excellent. Parang TUP lang, core values ng TUP. Qualitative. Kaya nga, everything must be, the decision must be, your solution must be calculated. No? Your way you solve a problem must be calculated. Kaya meron kayong engineering management. World-class and globally competitive through innovative or inviolable, honest, effective, and credible license examination. Minsan may nagtanong sa akin, paano binabayaran ng PRC? Well, no comment. Sabihin ko na rin sa inyo pag off the record. Pero those under 5734. Okay. Then section 3 is definition of terms. Ito na yung totoong definition ng mga electronics, computer, engineers, ICT, broadcast, industrial plant, so on. So there are 3 categories of practice: PECE, ECE, and ECT. Sa board exam, ang ECT isang araw lang yan. 2 araw ang ECE. And then yung PECE, you have to earn experiences and specialization. So far, we have only 2 PCEs in the person of Sir Glenn and Sir Raymond. Ako, parang hindi sa iba kasi pag nasa teaching, kaya medyo nahirapan din si Sir Raymond din. Pag nasa akademika. Not like pag ikaw ay nasa industry. Anyway, so ito yung nature and scope. Kaya we have 4 electives, no? TE1, TE2, TE3, TE4. Dati merong medyo nawala yung TE2, 3, and 4. Napalitan to lahat yung what I mean is nandun pa rin ang TE1, TE2, TE3, TE4, or even TE1. Pero sa curriculum nyo, meron pa kayo nun. Pero sa straight, okay, ang natira yung microwave engineering. Tapos, the rest, robotics, no? Other discipline. But since that's a TE1, it can also be a subject for siguro for needs, no? Kung anong hinahanap, no? Pero ako, solve na ako sa broadcasting for TE4, NAV8, especially for TE3, Limpiatos for TE2, which is the GSM, the designing. Pero because of the emerging and interdisciplinary of EC, in fact, isa nga sa based from the last 2 years na convention, naging issue yung computer science. Parang gusto nilang humiwalay. Kasi hindi nga pwedeng humiwalay kasi nga under pa rin ng 90-92 ang computer science. Or information and communication. Computers and their networking and hardware. Pero this last, I think the solutions there, no, nagkakaroon na tayo ng specialization. So you are ECE grad, you are ECE, magkakaroon ng board exam na project management ng specialization mo, you can subject for that. O transmission line. So far, sa last midcon, merong 5 pa lang parang gumagawa ng o nagsasubmit, no? I think that is now their move. Sa ibang bansa kasi, electrical engineer ka, no, major in these different fields, specialization. So for the meantime, the section 5 is letter B, the scope and nature of the 3 categories. Kita nyo, no? Lawak talaga ng ECE. No, even hindi ko alam kung nandito na yung nanotechnology. Robotics, medical electronics, which is the nanotechnology, cybernetics, biometrics, luma, bagay iba na ngayon ng no? Sa tingin ko, parang mata na, no? The scope for the PCE shall be embraced and consists of all the above. So depende na lang kung ano yung experts. Anyway, you will be paneled by the 3 BECE, Board of ECE, no? You have Obre, Almaro, and Detalia, Dr. Detalia. Sila yung Board of ECE. The scope and nature of practice of ECT now is consists of non-engineering work, okay, or activity retailing to installation, construction, operation, and control, and so on and so forth. We'll go now to Article 2. The PRC, or the Personal Regulatory Board of Electronics Engineering. So composition of the board, as of now, we have 3. 1 chairman and 2 members. In the name, the chairman is Dr. Italia Almero, and Obre. No? Si Almoro, siya yun naman yung sa academe. Siya yung nag-update, no? Sa PRC. And then, ano yung power of the board under Section 7? Una, of course, administer, implement the provision of this act. Lalo na pag may mga kaso. Sila nagre-revoke ng license, sila nagde-desisyon. Of course, para na rin korte, no? Administer oaths, pag may mga pumasa. Then adopt an official seal of the board. Issue your license, suspend or revoke certification of regulation or registration rather, and according to the professional identification card or the PECE, ECE, and ECT, or otherwise suspend the holder thereof from the practice of the profession. So the due process naman talaga yan. There will always be a due process para maano mo. So maraming kaso na. Ang late yata yung kay Lazada, no? Lazada. Whistleblower. Hindi ko alam kung maapekto yung kanyang license. To maintain a roster of PECE, ECT, ECE. Then issue, suspend, or cancel special permit for foreign professional ECE. Kasi nung simulang naaprubahan yung General Agreement on Tariff and Trade, no? Ikaw, ECE ka dito sa Pilipinas, pagdating mo sa ibang bansa, pwede mo pa rin i-practice yan, no? So meron ng ganun. Hindi lang sa pagkain, no? Dati-dati ang mansanas, hindi ka makakain noon, mga bata pa kami. Kasi nga, mahalang ka na yan. Mayayaman lang kumakain ng mansanas. O even yung mga PX good, no? Mga chocolates, mga sapatos. Pero ngayon, because of the agreement, no? The General Agreement on Tariff and Trade, no? Nakakapasok na yung mga hindi lang food or mga products natin ang walang tax, no? Pati na rin yung mga professional natin, expertise, pwede mo siyang practice iba. Kaya meron na tayo na Asian Pacific Engineering Council o Commission, APEC, Asian Engineer, meron na. Kaya ngayon yung mga PECE, may mga Asian Engineer. Okay, prescribe, amend, or revise the requirement for licensing. Okay. Then adopt a program for the full computerization. So ako ang naabutan ko is manual pa. No? Pag nagkamali ka, lalagyan lang sa baba yung tamang sagot. Isang linya lang. No? Sa baba. Tapos, ang mga papel noon ay may color code. Pag dilaw sa isang subject. Tapos meron dong narrative explanation. Kaya kung pangit ang sulat mo, malamang pasado ka. Tama yung nilagay mo kasi hindi nila mababasa yon. Tsaka ang agony mo, 6 months. Ngayon, 3 days lang, meron ka ng resulta. 3 days to 4 days. Okay. Alright. Adapt, grant letter, letter I, grant registration without examination, subject to review and approval of the commission, accordance with the provision of this act. Okay. Ang alam ko, pag 5734 ka, parang hindi na, no? Actually, sabi nga daw ng mga kakilala ko, pag 5734 ang license mo, madali na maging PEC. Pero hindi ko pa siya nagtatry. Siguro, mas ibang priority, something like that. Siguro bago ako makatapos, makag-retire, kasi para pag-retire, pipirma na lang ng mga designs, no? Plano na ng mga CCTV, something like that. So ang role din ng BECE, Board of ECE, study, examine, and recommend in accordance with the Commission of Higher Education. Kaya meron tayong isa sa mga BECE, si Almoro nga, si Jim Almoro, isa yung nagre-report sa CHED, pati sa mga test dasa rin, no? Kaya ngayon, hindi lang namin makita, no? Paano nangyari na kumonti yung subject ng ECE. Okay, mga pinalit, marami ang chaos, no? Yung mga general engineering courses, GEC. Kasi usapan dati, may ibang subject, with all due respect sa mga basics subject, sa high school na ilalagay yon, sa senior high, pero ewan ko bakit tataka nga kami. Okay, inspect educational institution. Ayan. Nagpit ngayon sa accreditation or ISO, dapat talaga patas ng patas ang board exam kung hindi isasara ang school. So yun ang challenge naman. Adopt and administer a code of ethics and code of technical standard of practice of PECE, ECT, ECE. Kaya practical ini-insist to. Diba? Kaya dapat masanay na kayo na pag wala kayo sa klase, nasa trabaho kayo, you are violating a work from home guidelines. Okay. Kaya huwag kayo sasama ng loob, ha? Pag sinecheck ko kayo. Kasi mabigat yan yun. Kaya meron tayong 90 to 92 to protect us. So, hindi ano yun yung papusuhin ang ating for our convenience. Okay? Baba. Prescribe the minimum pag ito sa mga sa board of PC. Minimum manning and manpower requirement for PCC. Okay. For purpose of ensuring compliance with the provision. In terms of safety, kasi meron tayong 4 volumes ng safety. So bago mag-operate ang mga plant, no, yung mga manufacturing plant. So, dapat makita din ng floor plan, number of manpower, and as well as their expertise. Formulate, prescribe, and adapt such rules and regulation for electronics installation in industrial plants. Okay, and this will be based on that PAR handbook that was formulated. Isa dyan yung building code, kasama na yan. Yung FDAS, Fire Detection and Alarm System. And then telecommunication, yung apat, yung pangatlo yata is more sa isang building kasi, no, dati-rate, dapat sa isang building, dapat meron sa outlet, hindi lang 220 outlet yun nandun, no? Hindi lang may ground, dapat meron kang patch cord na lumalabas for internet, kasama yon. Pag-layout din ng mga cabling, kasama yon sa plano. Ngayon, pag may nataya nga yung mga PECE, meron silang karapatan na mag-inspect. Pag nakita isang building na kulang sa communication, na layout, so pwede nila i-require. Hindi, isasara yung ano. Kaya nga, dapat merong connection sa LGU. May collaboration sa LGU. Formulate resolution, orders, and decision on such administrative cases. Mga kaso na ito. Standard to 15 days, no, ng pagsagot, pagtanggap ng mga reklamo, mga subpoena. Made an annual action plan and corresponding report on the beginning and close of each fiscal year on the activities, proceedings, and accomplishment of the board. Yung tatlo, required nila, ni-require ng PRC na magbigay ng yearly accomplishment report. Isa dyan yung midcon and saka yung annual year-end every December. Then discharge such other powers and function of the board and the commission may deem necessary for the practice of the profession with the upgrading, enhancement, development, and growth of the PECE, ECE, ECT, except those in administrative cases, all resolutions embodying rules and regulations and other policies, measures issued and or promulgated by the board shall be subject for the review and approval of the commission. All right. Now to section 8. Ano mga qualification nila? Bakit sila nandun? No? Dapat citizen of the Philippines with 5 consecutive years prior to his appointment. Residence. So, with good moral character and integrity. Sika na involved sa mga, siyempre, kaso yan. To be a holder of the valid certificate of registered and a valid professional, duly qualified to practice a professional engineer in the Philippines. Be a member of good standing of the accredited professional organization, which is the ISAP. Okay? Pero bago ngayon yung radio engineers, no? ERC, something like that. No, REC, no? Radio Engineers Council, something like that. Be an active practice, okay, at least 10 years. No? So, pag ikaw ay involved sa academe, hindi ka pwede. Most not have any peculiar interest direct sa mga schools, kaya bawal. So, most not have been convicted wala kang involved. Well, anyway, di rin naman tama, no, kung hindi ka ma-involve sa mga malalaking project, at the end, magkakaproblema, no? As long na wala kang ginawa, no, na masama. Especially during from the start, no, bidding up to the end of the project. So, wala ka naman dapat ikatakot, no? If you want to become the Board of EC. The term of office is 3 years. Pero matagal rin 3 eh. Pero hindi lalagpas ng 6 years. Pero, siguro yung chairman, that the member appointed to serve the next part term may be reappointed more. Okay. So, pwede palang i-reappoint ulit. Kasi mabigat din ang trabaho. Pero marami na rin qualified. Each member of the board shall take the proper oath. Okay. Okay. May vacancy shall be filled by the unexpired portion of the so kung ilang natitira taon, araw, itutuloy ng papalit. Ang sweldo at allowance ng board, the chairman and members of the board shall receive compensation allowance comparable to that being received by the chairman and members of the regulatory boards under the commissions as provided by the General Appropriation Act. So, yung GAA. Ito yung budget na kasama sila doon. So, removal of the board. The President of the Philippines, upon recommendation of the Commission, may suspend or remove the member of the board due to neglect of duty, incompetence, manipulation, or rigging of the licensure examination. Kaya di ako naniniwalang yung mga board exam na babayaran. Kung hindi, kasi kung sila automatic, no, tanggal sila. No? Anyway, sa ano ko na lang sabihin sa inyo, sa face to face. Anyway, matagal na rin to, ewan ko lang ngayon, pero sa tingin ko wala naman nangyayari ngayon. Okay. Pero unprofessional or unethical conduct of any of the judgment or conviction of any criminal offense. Automatic kasi yan pag meron kang kasong guilty ka. Automatic na yun. Section 12, Custodian of Records. Okay, we have the Secretary, Secretariat, and Support Services. The Commission shall designate the Secretary of the Board and shall provide the Secretariat and other support services implemented. Okay, let's move on. Now, Article 3 is about the examination, registration, and licensure. First, at Section 13, we have the licensure examination, except as otherwise specifically provided in the Act, all applicants seeking to be registered and licensed as ECE and ECT shall undergo the required examination to be given by the board. Kasi iba yung iba yung sa PECE. natin ay ito pala yan. Okay. Section 14. Qualification for examination. Okay, dapat una, citizen kayo. Katulad ng si Ruth. Yan, questionable yan si Ruth. Kasi mukhang hindi Pilipina. Okay. He or she with a good moral and not been convicted by the court. Okay. For electronic engineering examination, dapat graduate kayo ng BSEC. O kaya yung bago ngayon, electronics engineering. Okay. Okay. Or subject to compliance with minimum requirements to be prescribed by the board, such equivalent engineering courses. So, pwedeng kumuha yung ibang like electrical engineer, yung graduate, pwede yun. Kaso nga lang, siyempre, na pa yun. Aprobahan pa yun. And or related engineering course or program from any school, institute, college, and university na recognized by the government or the state wherein it's established after completing a residence collegiate course. Siyempre, bago naman mag-open isang school, dapat merong permit yan. For ECT, technician, isang araw lang yan. No? But graduate ka ng mga associate technician or mga skills, no? Mga trade school, mga textbook, or subject to the evaluation of the board such equivalent. Okay, at least 2 years. Kaya pag technician, ka-graduate ka, pwedeng kumuha. Okay. TG equivalent, Dito natin to sa second year. University or training institution recognized by the government or the state were established after completing residence course. University, dapat nasa 2 years in practice. Then, you can have, pag ECE, student, 3 years, okay? Okay. Tapos kasi usually ang vocational school, ang vocational courses, minimum of 2 years yan. Okay. Or yun na yung pinaka-allotted. Yan yung during pa to, no? Wala pa tong K-12. Pero alam ko, nabago na to, no? Nung nagkaroon ng K-12. Kasi, yun ang purpose ng K-12 . Pagdating mo pag ang tinapos mo ay sa K-12, ang track mo ay tawag dito, yung textbook, dead end na yun. Hindi ka pwedeng mag-engineering or ganun. So we will see, kung meron tayong mga updates. Kasi nga ang K-12 is experimental, pero sa tingin ko maganda siya, pero hindi failure sa implementation. So ibig sabihin, kailangan mag-usap-usap. Kasi nung last, bago nag-meet nagtawag ang Manila chapter for assessment, no? Bakit bumabaksak? Maraming bumabaksak. Kasi nga yung K-12, nawala yung I would say usapan na ang magtuturo ng math ng high school, senior high, dapat engineering graduate. Okay. Kasi yung isang gobernador noon ng Manila, pinagsalita sa Lyceum to eh. Ngayon nagsabi siya ng gano'n, na mataas ang expectation sa college, lalo na sa mga math subject. Ngayon, nagtaka yung mga teacher sa math doon, ganun pala yun. Hindi nila alam na ganun kataas ang in-expect. Kasi ang ginawa lang ng CHED o ng DepEd, pinag-aral lang sila ng summer, tapos pinagturo na sila ng math. Okay? Kaya pala nagtataka kami, may honor, pero pagdating sa analysis, no, hirap. Kasi pag mataas na yung application ng math mo, so nahahasay analysis. Kung basic lang, ilaw. Kaya nga, isa sa lumabas na issue. Pero ang usapan dati noon kay Pinoy Time na aayusin to year by year. Pero hindi naman yata na mag-cause yung yung dalawang congressman party list, parang nagdagdag pa ng basic subject. Kaya hirap na hirap ang lahat. Kung paano isisingit yung mga major subject. Okay. Ano ba dapat ipasa mo o ano ba dapat ang mo? Dapat 70% ang grado mo para pumasa ka. However, the candidate who obtains a passing rate in the majority of the subject, at matataas yan, pag meron kang below 70 but not lower than 60. Yan, ano na mapikat, 1990 tas 59, delikado ka na. Provided finally that should the examiner fail to obtain a passing rating in the removal examination, he shall be considered as having failed. Sa mga sa mga conditional. Alam ko may residential alam ko 2 years para makompleto mo kung conditional ka. Easy lang yata ang alam ko rin na mayroong conditional. The rest of the board, walang conditional. Simply because of the scope and nature. So 15 days ang result. 4 days meron na. O 5 days. So qualification and schedules under section 18 for professional, ito naman to sa amin. Nagsimula na akong nag-NBI na ako, pumunta na ako ng CHED, mga ibang requirement. Kasi hindi ko lang tuloy. Siguro ako na rin, problema ko na rin. Valid certificate, tapos kailangan yung meron kang 3 professional ECE attesting that the experience record submitted by the applicants ay totoo. So 3 certification. So may dalawa na, isa na lang. Kasi kung punta ka ng Manila, marami sa Manila. Anyway. Okay, valid certificate. Magsimula tayo sa imo na, no? Oh, okay. Valid certificate of registration and professional identification as electronic engineer. Qualification, Section 18, scheduled registration for PECE. For application for registration as a professional electronics engineer, the following shall be required. Okay. Dapat tama, registration lang siya. Pero sa mag-apply ka pa lang ng oral exam, kailangan na tong mga NBI, may checklist, ang dami checklist. Ito, pag nakapasa ka na, so ito yung hinihingi para mabigyan ka ng PECE. Importante dito yung experience mo sa industry. O industry ko lang 2 years. No? Nga lang sa ibang bansa pa. Ewan ko tatanggapin nila yun. Naging trabaho ko na sa computer yun sa casino. Anytime pwede makaingit. Anyway. So, application for registration kasi pag kukuha pa lang ng oral examination, karap ng tatlong BEC, maraming requirement siya. Dapat meron kang clear book, sabay submit. Tapos paggagawan ka ng isang plano, kaya minsan dapat ang plano mo bagong discipline. O nanotechnology, mga gano'n. O kaya, kasi CCTV, luma na siya. Sawa na sila sa gano'n daw. Alam mo, kung magtatanong, sasubmit ko project management. Kasi medyo kamay ko lang. Okay. Ayan, no? That those who have been registered and licensed as ECE under 5734 for at least 7 years upon the effective of this act need only to submit item ABC, provided further that those who have been registered licensed ECE under 5724 for less than 7 years, sobra-sobra na ako sa 7 years. After the effectivity of this act shall be submitted their certified experience record and certification from 3. Malaking pag-asa kung maging PECE. Ano masasabi nyo? Siyempre, wala. Take note on that. Tama tayo siguro ako. Pagka-graduate, pagka-retire ko, ayusin ko yan. Anyway. Section 19, issuance of the Certificate of Registration and Professional Identification Card. So the certificate of registration shall bear the signature of the chairperson and the 2 members, stamped with official seal of the commission. A professional identification, the same thing, no? Pagdating din sa EC. Section 20, registration and without examination for ECT. Dapat meron kang 5 years within 5 years after the effectivity of this Act 2004. Ako ko license ko, 1999. Sobra-sobra pa. Without examination, 2 applicants for registration as electronics technician who shall present evidence or other proof satisfactory to this point. Dapat graduate ka ng 2 years associate. Pwede sa TESDA. TUP Taguig, yan pwede. 3 years pa nga. And then you will be subject to the evaluation of the board. Ang mga tanong ngayon yata sa ECT, puro situational. Hindi katulad dati, no? Naubusan na yata sila ng mga tanong kaya situational, no? Lalo sa mga safety. Pero ito pagdating sa mga hindi ka na kailangan ng may experience ka. Self-practice employment. So may mga no, may mga provision talaga na pwedeng wala ka na examination kasi ang daming hinahanap, no? So ano yung non-issuance of the certificate registration of the PEC card for certain grounds. Okay. Ano ba na? Pag convicted ka ng korte. Okay. Kaya pag-involve ka sa mga crime, kuwari na-involve ka sa isabong. Okay. Na-involve ka sa moral turpitude. Unsound mind. Naalala ko may isang batch. Tuturo ko doon sa ethics. Pero hinigpitan ko. Oo. Hinigpitan ko talaga. Tsaka mga hindi umatin ng meeting ng na ISEP. Pinaupo ko sa likuran. Talagang hindi ako tumatawa, hindi ako nang jojo. Sineryoso ko talaga. So mga sila, siyam. Hindi umatin. Sabi ko. Laws and ethics. Pagdating dito, unsound mind. No? Unsound mind. So tingin nyo ba, unsound mind ako? Ayaw sagutin ko yes or no. Tinanong ko isa-isa. Hindi nila alam. Hindi sila makahawak ng cellphone eh. Sabi ng isa. Hindi lang isa, mga apat. Siya. Siguro out of na lang galit. Takot out of fear. Sabi nila. Yes sir. Tao na tao talaga. Kaya pag nakikita kami sa school, pag bumabalik tawa na lang kami ng tao eh. Unsound. Sa Tagalog, yung wala sa katinoan. Kaya naman ako, mahilig ako sa camera, tawag dito. Gusto kong gumawa parati ng mga issue. Diyan tayo magaling. Ano ba? Kayo din sana, meron din kayong, sa psychology daw, pag may nakikita ka pagising sa umaga, sa tabi ng dingding ng higaan mo, dapat meron yung, sabihin natin, naka-laminated na professional oath. Yung oath of conduct, oath, yung panunumpa. Para nakikita mong araw-araw yon bago magtulog. Para merong ka. Kasi minsan, pag wala ka nakitang gano'n, madali kang mawala sa focus. Pero kung pag isang bagay nakita mo, dikit mo lang sa dingding, tapos basahin mo araw-araw, tapos pag-pray mo. Magiging ka. Hindi lang more focus, kundi you will give your everything para ma-reach mo yung goal na yan. Iba pa rin yung prayer, siyempre. So, dapat kabisado nyo yan. Bukod sa kanta ng ISEP, kakabisado nyo lahat yan. Yung oath, professional oath. Okay. The revocation and suspension of certificate or registration or any permits that you have there, it has the board shall upon proper notice and hearing revoke and suspend the validity of the certificate of registration, or cancel a special permit granted under this section 26. For any of the causes mentioned at the preceding section, or for unprofessional or unethical conduct, malpractice, incompetence, or any violation of this act and its implementing rules and regulation, the Code of Ethics and the Code of Technical Standard of Practice, or where fraud, deceit, or false statement was found to have been employed in obtaining the said certificate of registration, professional identification card, or special permit. So, ang bigat, no? So, kailangan maging maingat na kayo ngayon, no? Para hindi dahil because of your mission and vision, siyempre. Kaya ang laws and ethics, mahirap ibigay ito sa mga bagong graduate. Kasi ang tinuturo dito, wisdom, experiences. Katulad yung naging member ako ng bidding awards. No? Talagang kaliwat kanan yung yung pag nasa 3 million ang project o malaking bagay ni noong panahon na yun, mga 20 years ago. Tapos kakausap ka ng mga vendor. Sir, Danny, ano bang inyong bank account? Sabi ko, bakit? Wala, sir, ano lang. Tapos minsan pupunta pa ako na UP Diliman noon. May seminar ako. Sir, hatid ka na namin. Mga ganun ba? Tapos habang sasakyan, no? Sir, saan mo gustong kumain? Ito kasi nila. One time. Ako naman, kwento ko na yata sa inyo to. May isang project kami ng electronics department. Ako ang department head yata, section head. Hindi ko alam na yung specs na nilagay ko doon, kinuha ko sa brochure nila. Di eksakto-eksakto. No, kuha nila. Hiningi sa akin yung bank account. Bakit? Tapos may nilalagay. May nilagay ng pera. Hindi ako makatulog, hindi ako makaano. Anong gagawin ko? So basa ako. Tapos pumunta ako ng National Bookstore, nagbabasa ako doon ng libro about ethical standard. May nabasa ako doon. No? About mga ganyan. Hindi man sa bribe no? Para maging ano siya, no? Qualified sa ethical standard. Pwede mo siyang i-share. So yun ang ginawa ko. Ilang kaming faculty sa ECN. Share ko. No? God, sabi nga, mga panahon na yun, buntis yung dalawang babae pa. Si Ma'am Rica at saka si Ma'am Jane. Buntis yun. So, siyempre, malanggata. So, mahal yung basta kung anong preparation nila. Bagong panganak, parang gano'n. So, binigyan ko. Ako, tuwang-tuwa. Mga panahon na yun, no? May pambili ng gatas, mga gano'n pa. So, gano'n ang So, medyo lumuwag ako ng lahat sinert yun. Pati mga maliliit na pyesa sa tool room. So, binabalikan ko yung istorya na yun kasi total naman hindi naman siya lagay. Pero talagang lang, hindi ko lang makayanan yung susuluhin ko. Kaya ganun na lang ako pag may nalalaman akong katiwalian. No? Kasi, although I'm not perfect, no? Meron din naman siyempre ako mga nagawa pero siyempre, no? Kung ang hawak daw talaga ng mga laws and ethics na subject, mga newly graduate, no? With all due respect sa kanila, babasahin lang nila ang batas. Babasahin lang mo ito. Wala kang may transfer na wisdom. That's truth, no? Kaya gusto niyong maging manager, presidente ng isang kumpanya, dapat may kinakausap kayo time to time mga no, sa company, no? Yung mga manager din doon. Kasi itatransfer nila yung kanilang no, kultura, something like that. Kukunin mo lang yung mga positive, iiwan mo lang yung mga negative. Pare, mga negative na, sumisigaw, pag stress, hindi ka, bakit mo gagayahin yun, siyempre. Kasi dito din sa 92, nandito din nakalagay paano ka makikipag-relate sa mga kliyenta mo, opisina mo, sa boss mo, sa mga public mo. Okay, so we will stop here on section 23. Tutuloy na lang natin sa part 2. Okay? So, at least, no, ito yung pangako sa inyo. So again, thank you for listening. And I hope you learned no, from the part A. Then we will just continue para you can ask questions no, sa second part or third part. Okay? So good night to everyone. God bless you all.